My wife's playlist changed overnight. Love songs she hadn't listened to in years. They're just songs, she shrugged. But then I found a note in her desk, lyrics from a song that played the night we met. Signed, Always Thinking of You. My blood ran cold. That night, I played that song at dinner. She froze. Why this song? I smiled. I thought you'd like it. After all, it's the one he dedicated to you. Her face drained of color. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone. Funny thing about love songs. Sometimes, they're meant for someone else. Then I hit play on a voicemail that changed everything. I never thought I'd be the kind of guy to end up here. I've been married for 10 years. We live in Chicago, in a quiet neighborhood just outside the city. It's nothing fancy, but we built a life here. A steady life. I run a small contracting business. My wife, Samantha, works in marketing. We've got a dog, Max. No kids, something we both agreed on early in our marriage. It wasn't perfect, but I thought it was solid. I was wrong. It started small. Her playlist changed. She's always had a specific taste in music. Pop, some alternative rock, a few guilty pleasure 90s songs. Never love songs. She wasn't the sentimental type. Then one day, I borrowed her car to grab coffee. I turned on the ignition, and the speakers filled the car with something different. Soft, slow, intimate love songs. Not just any love songs, old ones. Songs I knew she hadn't listened to in years. A weird feeling crept up my spine, but I brushed it off. People go through phases, right? Maybe she was just in a mood. But then I heard it. You Belong to Me. I almost slammed on the brakes. That song played the night we met, in a bar near Navy Pier. We had just started talking when it came on, and she made some offhand comment about how it was her song. It was the first time I saw her smile in a way that felt real. Now, here it was again, playing in her car after years of not being on any of her playlists. I went home and asked her about it. Oh, I don't even notice half the time, she said, barely looking up from her laptop. You've been listening to them a lot. She shrugged. Spotify recommends stuff. The way she brushed it off should have been my first red flag. I let it go. A week later, I needed a stapler. Her home office was usually neat, but that day, her desk drawer was slightly open. I reached in, moving some papers around, and my fingers brushed against something folded and soft. It was old, yellowed at the edges, folded over and over again. I don't know why, but I unfolded it. It was lyrics. Not just any lyrics, the song that played the night we met. At the bottom, in a messy, rushed scrawl, Always Thinking of You. No date, no name. I felt my stomach drop. I stood there, staring at the paper, feeling like I had walked into the middle of a conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. I wanted to believe there was an explanation. Maybe it was from years ago. Maybe she kept it as a weird piece of nostalgia. But deep down, I already knew. I put the note back exactly how I found it. That night, I barely slept. My mind was racing, connecting dots I didn't want to connect. I needed to know. The next morning, after she left for work, I did something I never thought I'd do. I went through her phone. She kept her messages locked. But her voicemails? Wide open. There was a recent one from an unknown number. It was left at 2 a.m. I hit play. Hey, I don't know if this is still your number, but I heard our song today, and it made me think of you. I meant what I wrote. Always thinking of you. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I listened to it 5 times. Then I saved it. I needed to be sure. That night, I made dinner. Spaghetti carbonara, her favorite. I poured her a glass of wine, waiting for the right moment. Then, I pulled out my phone and hit play. You Belong to Me. The moment the first note hit, she froze. She didn't blink. She didn't swallow. She didn't breathe. It was like someone had pressed pause on her entire body. Why this song? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I smiled. I thought you'd like it. After all, it's the one he dedicated to you. Her grip on her wine glass tightened. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone. Funny thing about love songs. Sometimes, they're meant for someone else. Then I hit play on the voicemail, and I watched as my wife's world crumbled. The voicemail played out, his voice cutting through the silence between us. I don't know if this is still your number, but I heard our song today, and it made me think of you. I meant what I wrote. Always thinking of you. The air in the room felt thick. She didn't move. She didn't even blink. My heart was hammering in my chest, but my voice stayed calm. Too calm. Want to explain? She opened her mouth, then shut it. Her fingers trembled around the stem of her wine glass. Her face drained of color. It's not what you think, she whispered. I leaned forward. Then what is it? She swallowed hard. Her eyes darted to her phone, and that's when I saw it. The split-second panic. She wasn't thinking about explaining. She was thinking about deleting something. Without another word, I reached over and grabbed her phone. She gasped, lurching forward, but I was faster. My stomach was already twisting, but I needed to see. I swiped through her call log. The number was there. Multiple times. Late at night. Early mornings. Random lunch breaks. Weeks of calls. Not just him reaching out. Her calling back. Give it back, she snapped, her voice breaking. Why? I asked, gripping the phone. So you can erase the proof? She pushed her chair back so fast it scraped against the floor. Her breath was shaky, her eyes wet. It wasn't like that, she said quickly. I didn't cheat. I scoffed. You didn't cheat? I waved the phone. What do you call this? We just talked. You just talked. I repeated the words slowly, letting them sit there, letting the weight of them hang in the air. I didn't see him, she blurted. I swear. I didn't believe her. Not anymore. Tell me the truth, I said. All of it. She pressed her lips together, her body stiff. Silent. I waited. She knew there was no getting out of this. Finally, she exhaled shakily. It was a mistake, she admitted. I shouldn't have responded. But she stopped herself, shaking her head. But you what? I pressed. Her gaze flickered to mine, and for the first time, I saw it. Guilt. Deep. Heavy. And something else. Regret. Not because she got caught, but because she wasn't ready to let go. He reached out months ago, she said, voice barely above a whisper. It started with one message. Just catching up. I clenched my jaw. And then, she swallowed. And then we kept talking. I felt something crack inside me. Did you tell him about me? My voice was tight. She hesitated. Too long. I nodded, standing up. So he thinks you're available. She rubbed her arms like she was cold. Like she was trying to shrink into herself. I never said that, she muttered. You didn't have to. Because the way he talked in that voicemail? That wasn't a man who thought he was texting a married woman just for fun. That was a man who thought he had a chance. She ran a hand through her hair, breathing unsteadily. He doesn't matter. I let out a humorless laugh. Really? Because from where I'm standing, he matters a lot. Her eyes flashed with something I didn't expect. Anger. You don't get it, she snapped. It's not like I was planning to leave you. I tilted my head. But you thought about it. Her face crumpled. And that was the answer. I sucked in a slow breath, trying to keep my hands from shaking. Do you love him? I asked. Silence. Long. Brutal. Then, I don't know. I don't know. Not no. Not of course not. You're my husband. Just I don't know. I gripped the edge of the table, my head spinning. I wanted to scream. Break something. Demand answers that would make this hurt less. But nothing could. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about him anymore. It was about her. Her choices. Her secrets. Her hesitation. This wasn't a mistake. This was a door she had already opened. And now, she wasn't sure if she wanted to close it. I stared at her. She stared at the floor. We weren't husband and wife anymore. We were two people standing on opposite sides of a fault line, waiting to see who would fall first. Say something, she whispered. I licked my lips. Do you want out? Her breath caught. No, she said quickly. She stopped, shaking her head. Her fingers twisting together. You just don't know what you want. I finished for her. She didn't deny it. And that hurt more than anything. Because if she really loved me, if she really wanted this marriage, she wouldn't have to think. She would know. And suddenly, I knew exactly what I had to do. She wasn't crying anymore. She just stood there, watching me, like she was waiting for me to tell her how to fix it. But I wasn't the one who broke it. I don't know what I want. Her words kept repeating in my head, like a song stuck on loop. I ran a hand over my face, trying to breathe through the rage building in my chest. I just need time to think, she added. This isn't what you think it is. I almost laughed. It's exactly what I think it is, I said, shaking my head. She opened her mouth to argue, but then her phone buzzed. We both looked at it. The screen lit up, flashing a name I wasn't ready to see. Not unknown. Not an unsaved number. A saved contact. Josh. He wasn't just some guy from the past anymore. He was someone she saved. Someone she let in. A cold wave rolled through me. I looked at her, and for the first time, she looked afraid. Her hand shot out toward the phone, but I grabbed it first. No, she gasped, reaching for me. I turned the screen toward her. What's he calling for? I don't know, she insisted. Just let me. I hit accept. She froze. Hello, I said, my voice like ice. Silence. Then a Sam. I didn't say anything. The line went quiet for a second, then Sam. He said again, a little nervous now. I looked at her. She was shaking. I took a slow breath. Wrong number, I said, and hung up. I tossed the phone onto the table. You have him saved. My voice was calm, but my pulse was hammering. It's not what you think, she whispered. Then what is it? She didn't answer. Because we both knew the truth. I left the house. I had to. I didn't trust myself to stay. I drove around for hours, my hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles went white. By the time I pulled back into the driveway, it was almost midnight. I walked inside, ready for another fight. But instead, I found something worse. A letter. On the kitchen table. My stomach twisted as I picked it up. I didn't know how to say this out loud, so I'm writing it down. Please read everything before you react. I sank into a chair, my heart in my throat. I read. And the more I read, the colder I felt. She admitted it all. The conversations. The emotional connection. The lies. But then she said something I wasn't ready for. He came to Chicago 2 months ago. I stopped breathing. We met for coffee. I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. I didn't plan on seeing him, but when he said he was in town, I don't know. I wanted to hear him out. She wanted to. She chose to. I forced myself to keep reading. It was just coffee. We talked for a few hours. Nothing happened. I swear. But when I left, I realized something. I swallowed hard. I still have feelings for him. My hands curled into fists. I don't know what they mean. I don't know if it's just nostalgia or if I actually love him. But I can't lie to you anymore. I've been lying to myself for too long. I stared at the words. My head was buzzing. I never meant to hurt you. I need time to figure out what I want. The last line nearly made me tear the whole letter apart. Please don't hate me. I dropped the letter like it burned me. I sat there, staring at it, my body numb. She wasn't just emotionally cheating. She wasn't just confused. She was keeping me as an option. And that was worse than anything. Because in that moment, I realized she wasn't choosing me. She was waiting to see if he would. I don't know how long I sat there, staring at the letter. The words blurred, burned into my brain. I still have feelings for him. I need time to figure out what I want. Please don't hate me. Hate her? I didn't even recognize her. The woman who had shared my bed, my life, my name, she wasn't here anymore. I stood up, my hand shaking, and walked to her bedroom. She wasn't inside. I checked the guest room. Empty. Finally, I found her downstairs, sitting on the couch, curled up like a child. Her face was pale, her eyes red. She looked up when I stepped in. Did you read it? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I nodded. I didn't trust myself to speak yet. I was going to tell you, she said quickly. I didn't know how. A humorless laugh escaped me. So instead, you kept me in the dark? Let me play house while you sat around wondering if you still loved him. She flinched. It wasn't like that. I ran a hand through my hair. Then tell me what it was like. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Because she didn't have an answer. And that was the answer. You should have told me the second he reached out, I said, my voice flat. I know. You should have stopped talking to him the second you realized there were feelings. She looked down. I know. You should have never met up with him. Her lip trembled. But you did. I stepped closer. And now you don't even know if you love me anymore. Tears slipped down her cheeks. That's not fair, she choked out. Not fair. I repeated. My voice was calm. Too calm. I built my life around you. I trusted you. I would have done anything for you. Her shoulders shook. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. She let out a small sob, burying her face in her hands. And for the first time, I didn't feel bad for her. Because this was her mess. And I wasn't going to clean it up. The front doorbell rang. We both froze. A strange, sick feeling crept into my stomach. Her eyes went wide. She knew who it was. Without thinking, I marched toward the door and yanked it open. And there he was. Josh. Standing on my front porch, looking just as surprised as I was. Oh, he said awkwardly. Like he wasn't standing in front of the man whose wife he had been emotionally screwing with for months. Is Sam home? I stared at him. I actually felt my brain short-circuit. He was exactly what I imagined. Some well-dressed, self-important guy, standing there like he belonged here. Like this was his story, not mine. And that's when I realized he didn't think he was the bad guy. He thought I was the obstacle. He thought she was his to take. I let out a slow, controlled breath. Yeah, I said finally. She's here. I stepped aside. Go ahead. Tell her whatever you came here to say. His confidence cracked a little. No, seriously, I pressed. Come in. I want to hear it too. A pause. Then he shook his head. I don't want to cause any trouble. No? Now he didn't want trouble? I laughed under my breath. Too late for that. I turned. She was standing in the hallway now. Her eyes flicked between us. She looked like she wanted to melt into the floor. Josh, what are you doing here? She asked, her voice shaking. I told you I was coming. I let out a cold laugh. Wait, you knew. She closed her eyes for a second. I told him not to, but he did anyway. I turned to Josh. What do you want? He hesitated. And then he did something that made my blood run cold. He looked at her. Not at me. At her. Like she was the only one who mattered. And she didn't look away. She didn't tell him to leave. She didn't step toward me. She froze. And in that moment, I had my answer. I was done. I turned and walked past them both, heading upstairs. Where are you going? She called after me. Her voice panicked. Packing. I was out of the house in less than an hour. She begged me to stay. She swore she would block him, delete his number, cut him off. But it wasn't about that anymore. It was about the moment she hesitated. She hesitated for him. She hesitated on me. And that was something I would never, ever forget. She fought it at first. She tried everything. Letters, therapy, even showing up at my brother's house, sobbing. But I was done. She had her chance to choose me. And she didn't. It's been 6 months. The divorce was finalized last week. I moved to a new apartment downtown. It's smaller, quieter, peaceful. She still tries to reach out sometimes. I don't respond. And Josh, she didn't end up with him. Turns out, the fantasy died the second she had the chance to actually be with him. And me? I don't hate her. I don't miss her. But I do pity her. Because now, she's the one sitting in silence, playing old songs, wondering what could have been. And for the first time in a long time, I don't have to wonder at all.